Welcome back, everybody, to Oz Bodybuilding Podcast. And I'm joined today with Luke Anderson. And we're going to be talking about kind of his journey from being, in my opinion, almost his peak prime into then walking away from the sport and then kind of coming full circle back. So you're all in for a treat, and let's just get straight to it. So my first question kind of is so going into that last prep that you did and that showing and all that, what was kind of the turning point afterwards that made you kind of walk away? What were you starting to have these feelings during prep? Did you go in going, this is, I'm giving it my all, and if it doesn't turn out, I'm walking away? Like, kind of what was your mindset and all that around that situation?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us on, Jake, and everyone watching. Pleasure to be on. Super grateful for this opportunity to share everything. That last prep, a lot of issues arose because my prep previous to that, I was focused on classic physique. So I was focused on not gaining too much size, just building a really good physique, where I won nationals in the IFBB my first time. When I then made the jump to bodybuilding and was like, all right, get as big as possible, a lot of health issues arose from that because I was putting on size way too quick. It wasn't properly measured. And from that, I was getting a lot of heart issues. So I got like heart palpitations. And this happened through my prep. I would just be like in the office at work, like I was PT, and my smartwatch would just jump to like 180 beats per minute. I'd be drenched in sweat. I'd have like these pounding chest pains, and they would last like half an hour. And like a few of them were really scary because it doesn't go away. You're in that pain for a long time. And then I was going to emergency hospital again and again. So that was like one of the main things that was really impacting me throughout that prep. That was more physical, the physical pains, the mental pain, and this one was the biggest head fuck. Was like, I don't blame anyone for what happened in my preps. Like, it's all a learning experience. But I got gyno. So I know a lot of other people have had gyno before. And like, before I went into bodybuilding, I saw other people having gyno, and I was like, like, that looks funny, it looks silly. We do that, we just laugh. But then, man, you experience it, and it is
the head fuck.
It's fucked, man. It is not nice at all. Hey, like, the whole goal of bodybuilding is to build this fucking sculpture of like mass and muscle, and you want to be like this Greek god. And then all of a sudden, overnight, you've got tits, and you're like, what the fuck? How did this happen? And it just ruins it. It ruins the whole process. It messes with your head. You don't. I was going to pull the pin like 6 weeks out. I was like, I don't want to compete. I look like shit. Which I looked fucking phenomenal, like physique wise.
Yeah, you did.
I was very happy with the physique. But with that gyno, man, it ruined that prep. I really doubted myself, and it was from like using enhancements where I've always just been someone who's just like been training, nutrition, discipline. That's always been my approach. So the two combined, going from classic to bodybuilding, then using enhancements,
and then getting
those heart issues and the gyno just really messed up that prep.
Okay, so that's really interesting, because that's something I'm always like wary of. Like, it's just kind of like, you think about gyno and you're like, yo, that really ruins the look. And like, especially for me, like, I don't have, my chest is probably my weakest area. So it's like the thought of, oh my God, if I get gyno, I'm fucked. Like, my chest is already shit as it is. It's going to make things worse. So I could only imagine how much of a mental struggle that would have been for you to kind of, going, because did it come on not during your prep, the gyno? So it wasn't an immediate thing that you noticed pre-prep. It just kind of came through as you got leaner. Was it more noticeable?
Well, if I look back now on photos of classic physique days, and I was pretty much natural for that classic physique comp. I only went to my coach when I was like 6 weeks out, and then he put me on enhancements. So majority of that prep, I never touched gear.
Yeah.
So like 6 weeks of gear is not going to do much in case of like size. And I noticed from a few pics, it was starting to enlarge a bit. So I may have just had like a genetic trait where it's very susceptible.
More, yeah.
And then when I went into my off season, you don't really notice it when you're bigger. So like when I was bulking, you've got more fat tissue around the chest. You go, oh yeah, it's a bit there. You're like, oh, that'll go away. And then man, you get lean,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
really obvious.
out. Yeah, bro, it doesn't go away. And like I said, I don't blame. Initially, it's funny how this works. I blame the gear and all those around me. I was like, fuck steroids, it's the issue. It's like, no, it's not. It's a tool. It's a tool that you have to use properly.
Yeah.
So I couldn't blame the actual steroids. And then initially I was like, fuck, coach, you didn't do me right. But then at the end of the day, that's given the power, my own power, to the coach and just sacrificing us. Like, you take no ownership.
Yeah, you're not taking responsibility for the outcome and actions that have occurred due to your decisions. It's not like your coach forced you to do it. You were wanting the aid, and that's just the weight that you kind of have to throw up that could occur.
Exactly, man. It's blind faith. It was just trusting the coach no matter what and going into it, not doing my own research at the start of that side. And then the like procedure to stop that was even worse, man. It was fucked. It was like we were doing so much letrozole, so much like Remedix. Like my body, my mind, everything was just fucked from that prep. I was doing things that shouldn't be done to try and get rid of this thing that was just looking really bad. So yeah, it was a really hard prep. And like the really hard thing was after it, man. I had to make the call. I was like, fuck, I gotta get surgery for this. Like, I can't keep this. And like, that's not cheap.
It's not.
Man, talking like, I think it was like over $3,000.
Yeah, I've heard roughly like 4 or 5.
If you get it right, you got to get it right. You got to get the people who've had experience. I was very fortunate that a friend referred me, like a doctor who'd done this a lot, and it was a successful procedure. Like, they look all right now. There's no main issues.
Yeah.
But there you see some post-surgery
it looks the same.
It looks worse.
Yeah.
It's like a hollow, like I have a tiny bit where it's hollowed in. But some people just get really bad, and I feel for them, man, because they've tried to fix it and remedy it.
Ruin the physique more.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I like, that's crazy to hear. It's really interesting. It kind of reminds me how every journey and every individual is, we really don't know what's going on in their personal life. We may look up to people on social media, or we may focus on what we see, but we don't know the battles that they're facing internally. And that's crazy to see. Like I said, to me, you were like almost reaching your peak. You were just going on a good stride, and then to know all these things that were actually happening in the background and how much that mentally affected you to the point where you had to walk away, like, that's crazy.
The reason I did walk away though was the heart implications. I was just visiting emergency hospital too many times, man. Like, I was trying to go to bed many times, and then I'd just be up all night with heart palpitations. It doesn't settle down. Like, your heart rate's just bursting past 180, and like, it just lasts hours. And I was in England for my grandfather's funeral, and it was during COVID time, so I had to go across. And there was one time it just lasted from, I think it was like 7 or 8 in the afternoon to like midnight. Yeah, like, we're talking heart racing. Like, I've done sprints, out of breath, I'm drenched in sweat for hours and hours. Like,
uncomfortable.
Bro, you have to really think about how that works, like hours and hours of just stress. And
just like overheating, literally. It's just overclocking.
Well, I sent my goodbye messages. I thought that was it, man. I sent my goodbye message to my partner in Australia, and I went, like, I love you. This is it. Like, I'm not going to make it out of this one, because I thought I was about to die. And I laid there, and then it stopped, and I woke up the next day.
Oh, so you hadn't gone to hospital yet? You were just...
I couldn't do it. I couldn't. We buried, we had the funeral for my grandfather the day before. My parents and all my family were in the room.
Yeah.
across. I couldn't bring it to them because
Yeah.
they've just lost
They
their
lost
their
their
dad.
father. Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I'll just deal with this. And then I was like, fuck, I'm gone. Like I couldn't do it. And then I woke up the next day and I was like, holy shit, I'm still alive. And then that was like the wake up call. I
Yeah.
was like, I can't keep doing this. I've been into these scenarios too many times, too much pain.
So on that then, when you were saying you were getting them in prep and you were going to hospital, was it a determination and will to wanting to, really continue that stride that you had from, classic and winning the nationals to going, I want to bring this into bodybuilding. So even though I'm having these things, we'll focus on them after the prep. And is that why you kind of didn't, pull that pin or kind of, continue along kind of straight after the prep?
I don't give in, bro.
Yeah.
My mentality is I don't fucking give in, eh? When it comes to pain, like it just go beyond it. And that's honestly why my training was like far beyond competitors and everyone else, and why I surpassed like my previous limits so quickly.
Yeah.
Was that discomfort in the mind. I was like, I'm gonna get through this because I have to get through this. And if I get through it, then it's a good story for other people who are also going through the pain. So, and like in my training, man, I was doing some of the sets were just fucking brutal. Like we're talking
You're lifting heavy weight. I remember some of you like posting some of those clips on Instagram, like lots of weight, like squatting,
for
the
reps, man. For rep,
bench
like
press.
the every Thursday was leg day at World Gym Ipswich, and shout out to the guys at World Gym Ipswich.
That's a good
They're
gym.
great.
It's a good gym.
Epic. It's the Mecca. It was a very special place to me.
Yeah.
We had a group of bodybuilders who were there pushing their limits. We had a great community where everyone was like banded together. It was a community. It was
Yeah.
really,
That's good.
really
That's what's important in a gym.
definitely. So shout out to those guys for creating that. And every Thursday was leg day.
Mm-hmm.
And man, the atmosphere, it like I idolized Tom Platz and Dorian Yates.
Yeah.
They were the guys I looked up to. Just because their work ethic, their intensity, their passion when they were training. So I'd listen to those videos, listen to their words before training, and like
Get in that zone.
we were doing the heaviest I got was squats was well, not heaviest, but the best set was 220 kilos for 20 reps.
Yeah, I remember that video.
I I was in absolute pain that I've never felt in my life, to the point where like we're throwing up, we've got legs up on the wall, we're screaming, agonizing. I'm outside gasping for air, and it's like I was like, "Fuck yeah, bring on next Thursday!"
Yeah,
Like that
literally.
was the attitude. It was bring
But
on
that's what
next
you
week.
need. Like, I feel like that's what's, it's that saying of what separates, the pros from the amateurs. It's what you need in the sport to take you. That's why the greats are the greats. That's why Dorian was the way he was. To build that dense muscle, you need to be able to go to that zone, get locked in, and, sacrifice, it's body's going to move throughout the pain. You must love the pain.
It's I found like from the experience of listening to others, there's three things that bring it to full circle. Like it's three things that are really important. It's like physical, it's genetics. If your body has a good genetic structure, so like in my case, squatting, my structure is perfect for squatting.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm blessed with that. For bodybuilding, you have to have good genetics for bodybuilding. Otherwise,
100%.
you're running a losing battle. Like it's just the truth.
Yeah.
That's hard sometimes. The mind of, have you got the right technique, the right programming? Have you got that side? But now what I'm really focusing on, which I had before, which I'm reconnecting, is the passion.
Yeah.
Like that is the important part. Like you can have the best genetics and the best program, but if you haven't got that passion of, I'm here to work and I want to feel every ounce of pain for growth, if you haven't got that, you're not going to get to your limits. Like if you hurt and then you quit and you stop after you hurt, it's like, come on, man. You're in the sport where you're wanting this.
You're wanting, yeah. You love the self pain, like that's why you can never complain. That's why, like, I love that mentality in prep. Like, you should never really complain in prep, because you're putting yourself in that position to starve. You're putting yourself in that position to be pain and fatigue. That's what's coming. So
It's a choice.
you should rejoice in it. You should rejoice in the blessing that is, I'm able to do this and I'm able to come out stronger and I can prove myself wrong.
It's a choice. It's
Yeah.
you have chosen to go into this prep and you've chosen to do this sport, and because of your choice, now you incur what you get. Like, you get what you get, and like that's, you have to accept that and work through it, and then you have to find meaning in that pain, meaning in the suffering, if you want to call it suffering. I never saw it as suffering, man. I saw it as, I'm in the playground and I'm here to like just enjoy life.
Yeah.
And then when it came to those top sets, the playground turned into a war zone, and like, I'm a
Yes.
fucking, I got a sword about to cut off heads. And
That's a good mentality. I like that. That's a good analogy.
yeah, you have to do it, man. You have to like imagine all these scenarios where, like, Dorian gave me a good one, which was you have to imagine that you've got your family, your baby, and someone's holding a gun to their head, and like you have to give it all in your set, or the
Yeah.
gun goes off. Like, I would use that a lot. Quite dark.
But it gets you to
like,
where you need to be. It
it
puts you
does.
in a mental space.
Does definitely. You'll do more reps.
Yeah.
If it's life and death, you do more reps. And that's why I was blessed with the community at the gym, because we had probably like 6 or 7 people around the squat rack, and they're just fucking yelling, like
Yelling.
beasting, like, come on, motherfucker, let's go get these like squats in. And it's like, it changes the environment. uh,
Definitely.
and you do more work. You do
And
more
that's
work.
something that, 100% I've noticed too. Like, it's really hard. A lot of commercial gyms these days, finding that atmosphere. And, that was something that I always found was that, World Gym Ashmore, but before it got the renovations, where it was just that same type of community, like, Sam was getting into his prime, getting ready for his shows, Logan was getting ready to, win that pro card, that energy was there. Everybody was grinding. Chris was still competing. And like, it was just like, this is what it's about. We're all trying to boost each other. We're trying to be that supportive community. And I've just noticed, since that renovation, that it's just kind of been, it's not there the same. Sam's gone, built his own gym and stuff like that, but it's just not that same anymore. It's so important, like you're saying, to have that community energy where you're all, you're all going to war to just feed off each other.
I think we had it with individuals competing and doing very well.
Yeah.
But now it's the responsibility of just the upcomers, like the athletes. Like, if you're wanting to be a bodybuilder, it's like, surround yourself with bodybuilders, get like a good group of people and be on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Like, who you surround yourself with, you'll become that. So if you're around people who are doing really well in the sport and wanting growth, you create your own environment. It doesn't really matter if you're in a commercial gym. Like, you're going to get stares. The
Yeah.
amount of times when I was training, because I'd be screaming, like, I'm going to war, man. I'm screaming, yelling, grunting. You get that,
Yeah.
and that's fine. People are going to love you. People are going to hate you. You just take it.
Part of it.
Yeah, man, just take it. But you can create your environment with your group of friends, and we're getting in a place in life now, it's very disconnected. It's
Yeah.
very, I'm on my own solo journey and I'm against everyone else. Fuck the world. It's just me. And that's such a poor mentality, because it's like, team up, work with people and the same goal, and grow together, and your progress will far exceed what you could ever get alone.
No, 100%. I agree with that. It's got that mentality of, I think a lot of us forget, and especially with everything that's happened with COVID, and that we kind of get in that mentality of, we got to do stuff ourselves. It's about, fuck everybody else. But the biggest factor in life, we are biologically designed to wanting to have a sense of belonging in a community. So having those like-minded people and creating that community is what we need to help us succeed outside of, our individual growth.
Mm. And it's going to help with the mental health issues. So that's something that happened along my journey, like through enhancements, gyno, and other things. Mental health was a massive thing. If you've got that community and you've got those people all around you, then like, you're going to be so much better well off than being by yourself.
Yeah.
Mm.
So after the prep, when you were in England and that happened, and and then yeah, where did you? So when you came back, so tell me about that journey of kind of walking away and this like spiritual growth that you've had, or personal growth, and what kind of discovery you went on. Because did if I remember correctly, when you came back, did you split with your partner for a little bit, and while you're going on that journey, and then you obviously reconnected again?
Yeah, so I'm gonna put this. When I was in England,
Yeah.
I was focused on being the greatest bodybuilder. I wanted to turn pro and I want to be the greatest. I then had the health issues and I went, I'll become the greatest coach, and
Yeah.
I'll educate myself and help others become the greatest. Soon realized that if you want to call it karma, it's more like a cycle of like
Yeah.
patterning in your mind. I then went, it's not that I have to become the greatest coach and help others. It's I'm so focused on becoming the greatest. It's like, what am I lacking within?
Mm.
Why do I have to be the greatest all the time? Why can't I just be me, enjoy my life, and be happy and content with that? Because throughout all my life, like I've been a rugby league player. I was very well off and I got scouted when I was in England. I
Yeah.
did Muay Thai. I was training with John Wayne Parr, shout out to him, where I'd done like 5 fights and I was doing well there. I was in the army and I was getting like recruit training, like the best awards, best shot, best PT. Did natural bodybuilding, was world champion, like IMBA, went to IFBB. Like everything was the greatest all the time. And this competition was the first time I didn't get it. And I
Yeah.
went, fuck, I didn't get this. And instead of addressing that, I just went on to well, I'll be great at something else. I'll be the
Yeah.
greatest at this. It's like I wasn't learning. I
Yeah.
wasn't I wasn't figuring out what my own issue was in life.
Do you think that that was your ego? So do you believe that because you had always been, rewarded externally as the best and the greatest, and hadn't really necessarily felt failure to a certain degree, that after the complications and realizing, oh, well, I'm just going to go to the next thing that I can be great in because there's this pattern and track record, your ego got hurt, and that realization of kind of that loss of, being humble in the manner of, like you said, I can just be happy with who I am. I don't need to feed to be the greatest. Like I don't need to chase that. I can learn to be happy within who I am as a person.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
I I was so far on like one side, which was like progress, goals, achieving, like that was all my focus. And then when that collapsed out from circumstances which were out of my control, it wasn't that I fucked a prep and I didn't follow the plan or I didn't train. It's like I got gyno. I
Yeah.
had heart issues. Like fuck, I can't blame myself. I got those issues, right? So that failed, and I went, you know what? I'm just gonna go with the flow, and I'm gonna just chill and enjoy life and be at peace and enjoy everything. But what I did was I went from one side all the way to the extreme other sides, and that's not good either. Um, During that time, I had a very good spiritual awakening. I found like connections to like
Yeah.
source and energy and this other realm of worlds that was just really fascinating. And I started leaving like the physical realm behind. I was like, what's the point of weight training? It serves no purpose. Fuck it, I can't be bothered. We're only spirits having a human experience anyway. Like, all I am is consciousness. Like, I was just going through these thought patterns, and I was, disowning my whole past, saying I don't need that anymore. I did that for quite some time, and beautiful, blissful. Like my life was, I lived a great life. But then after an incident, I sort of woke up to what
Yeah.
I was doing, and I went, man, like I'm not living anymore. I'm not growing where I want to grow. My life has just stalled. It actually went down, and now I'm at nothing. Like I left my coaching job, left my family and my partner. I had no money. I was broke. I was actually giving away money. I was trying to help people so much. My other clients who were struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have this, you have this. Yeah, use it right. I'll be fine. I was living in a van, and then I went to like the mountains. I
Yeah.
lived alone for like quite some time.
I remember you
Uh,
doing some of the training in the woods, doing some of like the farmers carries. Some would you had a couple of kettlebells just to keep the exercise going. But yeah,
yeah,
you're
yeah, it wasn't serious though. It wasn't serious. It was just yeah.
all the time
Yeah, I was more meditating. I was just being like going with
present.
it. Yeah. I lived in the now.
Yeah.
So in the you can enter the now moment at any time. It's very calming. And all it is you just block out every other thought patterning that's occurring in your life. So like it happens to me now where I'm caught in my mind a lot more because I've reconnected.
Mhm.
Um, but when you're in the now moment, there is nothing else. Like it's just
Yeah.
me and you talking right now. Yes, this will be streamed and put everywhere else,
Yeah.
but in this moment, it's me and you. And in that moment, like there's no worry, there's no stress
Yeah.
because you're just having a conversation.
And everything else, whether what happened prior to this or what's going to happen after is irrelevant. It's all about focusing on the now.
It's irrelevant because it's not real. It's
Yeah.
in your mind. It's a thought process which has been created and constructed. So your mind can actually be controlled by call them entities or forces outside this physical realm, and they can alter. Like if you have a an experience, you can perceive that in two different ways. You can
Yes.
say this experience was great, or you can say this experience was shit. It Who chooses which one you think about? And like that's a really interesting concept because if you're in the wrong mindset, you're seeing your life in this bad negative
Yeah.
perception every time.
And I agree with that because when what you're saying before kind of made me think like another way that I would explain it is that, I found for myself too, I was getting so focused on the internal development and kind of, what is the point of all external things because we are just, you know, every decision in that is made from our internal, and the external is a reflection of what we create inside. So it was kind of like, what's the point? But then in the same time, that's that too extreme where then you're not living the life where you want to have that healthy balance of, well, okay, I'm working on my internal, but my reflection of my external is also, we want the same type of growth. We don't want one to stall without the other. We want them to both be growing together. Where I feel, sometimes we kind of, being materialistic, we can focus too much on, well, we want this externally and that, but then they're unhappy internally and they're sad and they mask that with, materialism, or the other way. Like we said, we focus too much on our internal and our growth and that type of stream. And then in return, we kind of are ignoring every other aspect of our life that we kind of do and have to enjoy. And we block out that community that we kind of, that's kind of the circle that I've done. I realized and gone, okay, I focused too much on my internal, ignored my external, and then gone, oh shit, I'm internally, mentally can put myself in a happy state, but I'm not really happy. And that's because my external is down here and my internal's here. So it's like, well, I need to find that community to help and create that external life to match that internal, if that kind of makes sense. That's, yeah.
Definitely, I follow it, man. It's we're here for a reason. We're not here just to leave the physical world and just go, yep, there's no point.
Yeah.
We're here to create. And if your internal is set up in a way where I don't want to use the word anymore like high vibe, because I think that's a poor choice, because it's for me, neutrality is like the new way to work through this.
Yeah.
If you're in a way where you're just neutral, you're happy, everything's fine in life, then in your internal, then your external, you're going to start creating things which are going to help the world. They're going to like create more like and even these words like new earth and all, a lot of that stuff has to be very cautious with spirituality wording. A lot of it's like psyops which have been altered. It's not very good. But finding that balance of your internal and your external growth, then you can create what you want, man. It's like you become the creator of your life. You're not living life from all of these old programs. So a lot of like we could say we're in a virtual reality. You can say that, right? And you could say that we're just consciousness exploring this life. The habits and the programs that like we've acquired through our growing up, our growing phase, they're still there. Like, and I know for myself, I'm breaking these habits now, and they're fucking challenging because they've been there for years and years and years. But they're creating for something which is better, something that's going to help the world, serve myself, serve my family. And that's like balancing the internal and external. Yeah, it's hard though. It's not easy.
Like personally, I believe it's something that it takes your whole life to master. Like I feel like I'm at that point where I question, will you ever master it? But I think it's one of those things of like that acceptance of, as long as you're continuously working on it day by day, that's the mastering of it. There's no limit. It's just the day by day mastery.
Perfect, man. Mastery is knowing that there's always continual growth because you're always creating and growing. Like if you say you've made it and you're balanced, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
You go to unbalanced.
Yeah.
You go back to unbalanced and then you go, well, I'll start again. And that's a loop that can happen. And that's a painful loop because that happened to me. I spent a long time growing spiritually. It's like, yes, I've done it. I've awakened. I'm in this space, and reality can change and you can perceive the world in a different space. But from there you fall if you don't really recognize of what's happening. So it's knowing that this is a game, a life to experience and
to enjoy
from. I've shifted my analogy of perception from I still see it as a bit of a simulation, but also that we're a part of like Earth, and in that Earth there's like a tree. So before I go into this, I'm actually studying counseling. So in 12 months, I'm going to be counseling for like all the experiences I've been through to help others.
That's cool. That's really good.
And the logo that I've got represents this, which is it's about like a plant growing in a light bulb. And it's all about like we're part of this earth, we're growing, we're nurturing, and the plant doesn't grow to a certain thing and then just stop. Like it'll grow. It will get to its limit because all the other plants around it, but it'll still live its life. All right.
But you can still nurture it. Like it's just like our bodies with bodybuilding that, or we can still nurture, we can get to our limit, or even just in life, you become an adult, but it's just, the fact of how further we go is by nurturing, whether, from food to our habits to environment, everything. So I really like that logo. I like that analogy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So it's, about nurturing and getting through and growing that light, because we're in challenging times in life, and people's experiences can be completely different, but we're all going to face challenges, and it's how do we grow from that? How do we perceive that challenge? And it's just the experience that we have.
It's good. No, it's a beautiful thing. I feel like, no, it's really good. Like, it's really good to hear that, you're taking this experience and being able to, move that forward. It's always nice when you kind of hear someone who's been through something or gone through that awakening or come to that personal growth level where, they can now give back. And it's great to see, because I feel like it's that, one person, it's that ripple effect, you give back to people in a certain way. This video will give back to other people. And, that's going to plant seeds and help, to continue to nurture and grow and help other people's. And it's just really good to see, you're able to do that and share your experiences through that manner, through helping others. Because I feel like we all have, like you said, we're all going to have problems. We're always going to face problems no matter where we are, what we do in life. And I don't think every problem is individual based, but the way we can learn to react and progress from the issue and the experience can be done from a positive manner that kind of is like a foundation that everyone can kind of learn from, if that makes sense.
You can see it as a gift. So for me at the moment, I'm now reusing my pain to create something and give it meaning.
Yeah.
We all go through pain, so it's not like I'm the only one that's gone through pain and everyone else is fine. It's like everyone goes through fucking pain. Everyone has challenges. Everyone has growth. What you do with that pain is up to you. You
Yeah.
can reuse that pain, and you can, like for myself, I'm going to go into counseling and I'm going to help people get through their own pains because of my own experiences. But it doesn't have to be that. You don't have to help people. You could create something, and that creation then helps people.
Yeah.
But it's reusing your pain to then create meaning for that pain.
That's a really good way to explain that. I like that. That was better than my mumble jumble. That was good. I like that. It's a gift. It's a gift. Pain is a gift that you can give positive to others.
And then you shift it, and then you shift it from even being pain.
Yeah.
You really you take away that notion of it is pain, and you go my experience.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying before. The experience is everything. It's like my experience is now a gift,
Yeah.
which I'm able to share to the world. It's like this stuff here, this stuff talking about enhancements use, gyno, other aspects of life, which like you don't have to explain in person. You can then, instead of seeing them as bad, you can reuse that and share that
Yeah.
with someone else.
That's good. I like that. That's very nice. So from doing that full circle, you've then gone wanting to go back into training. So what kind of that transition from this we'll call, we'll just say for the sake of it, like an awakening or realization, because
Yeah.
it's only very recent that
Self-realization, the term awakening, it's got too much annotation to it where it's spiritual hippie, doing chakras and meditating. It's like, okay, yeah, like that happened. Let's move on from that now.
It's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like you've reached the highest level, that self-actualization almost.
Yeah. You begin to learn of yourself. You forget and you let go of all the external, and you stop caring about what other people are doing. And then you spend your energy and time working on yourself and clearing your own blocks, clearing your own detrimental loops. You get rid of that, and then you re-enter the world again. And then you re-enter this world as someone who is wiser, more experienced, happier, and is there to serve the people. That's, in my eyes, my experience, is an awakening.
Yeah.
It's just you've learned yourself, you've gone and broken your old loops, which were pre-planned, pre-programmed, and then you're re-entering. So self-actualization is a much better word, because everyone says, I even wrote a book. I even wrote a book, Endeavor to Awaken. It's like, I'm going to awaken and these next dimensions. And look, there's probably stuff there. All right. There's probably stuff there.
Yeah.
And when it's time and you're ready, then you'll see that side.
Yeah.
And it'll happen. But if you force it, it won't happen.
Yeah. It's kind of when you seek something, you kind of never get what you want, or when you chase too hard, it's not going to come. If it's meant to be, it's going to be organic, and it's going to be what you
you're seeking it from an external.
Yeah,
you're seeking
from a validation point of view.
You're trying to find happiness and all these things external, and the moment you think external, you infer that you lack. The moment you say, I need that car, I need that money, I need this, I need to make me feel good, it's you lack something in yourself that you need those things.
Yeah.
You can still have those things. There's nothing wrong with it. They're here.
It's that separation between need and want.
Yeah, like they're here. They're in the game. You can explore them and have fun. Like that's cool. But once you find that, like, call it the light within, or like terms which also like block it and make it seem hippie. Just once you find your own happiness within and you're content with yourself, you're fine. You don't need anything else.
Definitely.
You can have them, but you don't need them.
Definitely. And that's that separation between, I guess, that materialistic want and, that self-happiness.
Yeah. So now talking about bodybuilding and coming back into it, the reason now to come back into it is I fucking loved training. I never saw training as a chore. When people were complaining about training, it's like I said before, it's my playground.
Yeah.
Like I'm a kid, man, in a gym. It's like I'm lifting weights. I go to gyms now because I don't live in the cities. I live rural because we moved. And when I'm in the gym, I've got machines. I'm like a kid, man. I'm so happy. I'm just loving it. So I've re-entered. I'm doing a different approach where this time I'm not using enhancements.
Yeah.
Not because they're bad. People use them and they've got their purpose. I just want to see how far I can go without them. Like
Yeah.
I'm intrigued because I got to a national level in classic physique where I used 6 weeks of enhancements, and that's gonna do fuck all before the comp. And I won. So the only reason I went to bodybuilding is, and here's another self-actualization, is protect your dreams. Protect your dreams because you can be easily manipulated by people who have the best intentions. They are not bad or evil people at all, but they may say, "Hey, man, you should do this because you're really good at this."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, but my dream was classic physique, and I was really enjoying this. And
yo, you got so much potential in the world. Look at your genetics, yo. Just do it. You're gonna be great. Yeah.
Give me Mr. Olympia. Go on, the dream, Mr. Olympia. And then you go down the path which is not your path.
Yeah.
You followed someone else's path, and when you go down that path long enough, then you go, I'm not actually happy doing this. I didn't choose this. I was sort of manipulated. So returning back into bodybuilding is now just for, I learned this the other day, it's therapy.
Yeah.
It's 100% therapy. I've had a lot of like mental issues, like trauma, like all these things that have happened in life. And so other people have as well. No victim mentality here. It's just that experience happened. And weight training is a place where I feel just at peace with myself. I feel just centered.
Like a form of meditation, because you're only focused in there. You're a kid. You're bringing out that inner joy. You got no care in the world about anything else, and it's just about you lifting that weight. And it's that meditation almost.
I've always been a big firm believer of the mind muscle connection. So when I'm training, that is my meditation. I'm not thinking or hearing of everything else. I'm imagining the muscle, like I'm visualizing, seeing that muscle do that action and stretch and contract, and I'm trying to just place energy, because after this experience of self-actualization, a lot of it you can almost feel energy now. A lot has changed in just this. Not before, it was just physical body, it was just muscles, and that was it. But now it's like you can feel energy, and it's like an upgrade in this game. And it's really interesting because through imagination, through like what you see in your own mind of your physical side, you'll begin to create that. It sounds cheesy and corny, but it works. It works for me.
Well, to me, that's kind of the forefront of that mind muscle connection, because you're taking your thoughts and creating that connection of you visualizing the muscle tearing, the muscle of bringing the movement of the muscle moving in that pattern, and that's that what you're saying, that imagination of the thought of creating that, whether you relate it to the energy of your body and that. But I get what you're saying in that manner.
Yeah, the cheesy and corny part is like I like Dragon Ball Z. I'm a big anime guy. If you've seen my coaching page, which I'm starting up now, I do a lot of like anime picks because it's awesome, man. It's like people training, pushing the limits.
Who's your favorite? Is it Goku, or you like Vegeta, or Broly? Broly's my favorite.
Broly's pretty cool. They're all good. I see parts of me in everyone, like in all of those characters. But the technique that I use is like I'll sit down, I'll like close my eyes, I'll visualize like my own physical body. So once you really begin to practice imagination, you can close your eyes and you can see your body like in your mind. Like you step back, so you're almost like up here looking down at yourself in your mind with your eyes closed. And bro, I turn myself Super Saiyan. Like in my head, I imagine there's just like this energy, like lightning just hits my body, whoosh, energy rises up. I've got a fucking field going on, hair's turned gold, my body's alive. I feel alive. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm ready to go. And I went, okay, this may all be just in my mind.
But it's that connection. It's that connection you have with your consciousness to create that thought and to create that, because it's that saying, our body goes where our mind does. So if you create that and you believe that, you will feel alive. Like if you tell yourself every morning in prep, I'm not tired, I'm not tired, I'm not tired, I'm not tired, even though your body is fatigued, you're mentally going to feel great.
You can affirm things with words. That does work. Words are all right. Words can be manipulated.
Yeah.
Imagination, man. Don't be like, I'm in prep. Oh, I'm struggling. I'm in prep. I'm not tired. Like, imagine yourself like fucking jacked, like Ronnie Coleman or someone, and just going, I'm a fucking boss. I'm gonna get through this. And you imagine yourself as that, and then you act that way. So it's imagination, then
It's
go into your
next
thoughts.
level.
Imagination goes into thoughts, which then go into feelings, then go into actions and habits. If you've got one of those in the chain, which is like not working, like people don't have imagination these days because we're just on the phone. We're just receiving. It's like meditate. Like imagine yourself being this character in a game that you want to be, so you can turn yourself into a warrior. You can turn yourself into a fucking
whatever.
So turn yourself into Thor. Like you can do that. And it may seem cheesy, but what are you actually doing? You're entering a 4D thought forms imagination. So we have 3D, which is physical. In the 4D, that's where all of our thoughts and everything, entities are real. When you think about something, it's real, right? Like you say Thor and you go, fuck yeah, I know Thor. I've seen the movies. He's jacked, he's strong. It's fucking lightning everywhere. It's like, okay, tap into that. Like become that. Let that entity just be like, okay, I see you. You're a part of me. I can do that too. And then you're going to be better than the person that's sitting there going, I'm just a human being and I'm tired. And that person's fucking weak.
Yeah.
Choose someone who's better. And then when you choose it, it's like, fuck, you're the creator now. Well done. Like you've stopped being just a victim and just like you create, man. Like it's fucking, that's power. It's really,
you're taking control of an authority of your life and like giving the power back to you instead of having that handed to you through other people or other things. You're reminding yourself that we are all, like you said, all creators of our own life, and so we can live and be whatever we want to do and have whatever we want. It's really good. I think that's a really good message. And I think it's something that, can be really applied, especially in bodybuilding. So I think it's, a good thing that I hope, anyone listening can kind of, give it a go and take it on board and, see where it may take them.
And belief. So so this is how it works for me. So I've been able to use imagination and it works. Like I get more energy. I acquire energy, not from someone else. I don't take it from someone else. I get it from myself.
Yeah.
It's really important how that works. If you have the belief that you can do that, that will then transfer into the belief that you can accomplish your goals. So if you're in a prep and then you're gonna, I'm gonna compete. It's like, oh, that's wrong. No, like it's like I have the belief that I can be number one, or I have the belief that I can be this great like physique. If you just go into like, I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to give it my best shot. You don't believe.
Yeah, you're going to fall short.
Belief. You're lacking passion. And that passion will create the thought process, will create the emotions, will create the actions, which then create that end result. So if you're lacking the passion initially, it doesn't matter if you've got the best training program, the best coach, or the best genetics. It's like if you haven't got passion, you miss out. You miss out on so much that you could achieve. And passion, belief, you create yourself. You don't buy it. There's no buying passion. You create it yourself.
Yeah. And that it's good because that also applies to, anything, whether that's your work life, family, friends, every aspect. I think that's such a great tool to utilize in that journey of like, that game of life, having that passion, it's that important thing because, then we end up being lackluster. We find this way excuses come into play. We that it's creating that emptiness almost when you don't have passion. You kind of not. It's not that balance is no longer there. So I can understand the importance of what you're saying with making sure that passion and belief is there to utilize together.
It's very robotic. If you haven't
Yeah.
got passion, you're doing the next task and the next task and the next task and the next task. If you've got passion, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm doing this because I love this and this is going to create like whatever it may create for you. But that's a better mentality of, all right, waking up,
Yeah.
I'm going to work, I'm getting back, I'm going to train, I'm going to have a meal. It's like, I have to. It's compared to, fuck yes, I get to do this. I
Yeah.
get to do this. It's like, that's passion. It's just a different belief in life.
Definitely. So now that you're kind of at this point and back into training and really enjoying it and have these new systems in place and new tools that you can utilize, I understand that you got to congratulations, by the way, you have a child on the way, so it's very exciting. It's gonna
Thank
be,
you.
I'm sure you're gonna both be great parents.
I think that was one of the reasons I stepped away as well. I would have never had a child. I saw children as a obstacle to the goal of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I was so focused on Mr. Olympia. Never will have I've had a child. And I am so grateful that I took time away from the sport to have this opportunity
Yeah.
because I want to be a father, man. Like
Yeah.
that's my thing. If I got a kid I get to like raise and be with, that's better. Like all my trophies are locked up in a container. I don't look at those trophies anymore, man.
Yeah.
They're not they're all
It's not the
right.
same.
They're all right,
Yeah.
man. But like they're not a kid, they're not
Nah.
family, it's not
Yeah.
life.
That's right. It's not something that you've created and you can help, nurture and have that, bring that life and share, your growth with that child and allow them to grow and watch them grow. I think it's such a beautiful thing. And the older that I'm getting, you know, the more that I'm understanding that and really seeing that beauty in, having a family and actually, what it means to have a child. Because, I've always grown up and gone, I want a family, I want a kid, I love kids, but understanding that real beauty in it and that real beauty in that creation and that nurturing that comes along with it. I think, yeah, it is such a beautiful thing.
And like that's the reason why I returned to bodybuilding and training was I I was so focused on being a father and want to be like really good that
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I can't compete, I can't train because I've got to be there for the kid.
Yeah.
I did that for some time, and man, I was not happy. I'm not going to say miserable, but I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I was
You weren't
very,
having your therapy. You weren't having that balance.
I was empty. I was missing the part of me, which is like the gym's my home.
Mm.
Like I've spent since 15 years old training, and for a good portion of that time, I didn't miss or take time off. Like
Yeah.
having a year off training, that is just fucking next level. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, we're having a kid, we're having a baby. I want to be the best dad for that baby. And how am I going to be the best dad? I'm going to be living in passion. I'm going to be doing what I want. Not because, oh, I got to train and the baby comes second and I'll look after those a bit later. It's like, no, baby's first, but I am still living in my passion. So
Yeah.
when the kid looks at me,
He can see the passion that you have.
yeah, man, he can go, fuck yeah, dad's going to the gym. Dad's like living his dream compared to like dad, which may not have that passion anymore.
Yeah.
And they got rid of it because they thought they were doing it for the family. I think that's you got to balance that. You got to have your own passion. So the kid looks at you and goes, fuck yeah, that's my hero. Like you want your son to
be
look
inspired.
At you. Yeah.
Definitely. So in that sense, then, are you planning on ever returning back to stage, whether that's, I'm assuming, I guess, classic?
Sorry, 1 second.
That's all right.
Nick's just got back. Look, I want to compete.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great experience to have.
Yeah.
But not right now. Not right now.
When the time's right.
Yeah, I got a newborn baby on the way next year, and that's going to be the focus. I'm gonna train and build a physique for photo shoots. So
Yeah.
I want to like I've got a few ideas I'm going to build and work towards. Um, but that's if I wanted to compete, I realized that the level in classic physique is incredible.
It's getting
The
crazy.
the guys there,
Yeah.
I think it's because when I started, I was like new. It was new.
Yeah,
Classic.
it hadn't really popped off yet. It was just starting to grow, and just like the past couple of years, it has really just jumped.
Yeah, man, and like the competition back then, there was I like no disrespect to any other athletes. It
Yeah.
was more like there was a few which were classic and a few which were small bodybuilders.
Yeah.
And that was just because people were trying to figure out like
What they
no
wanted
one
to
knew
do.
what classic was. No one
Yeah.
knew what it was. Like, what the fuck's classic? One year this guy wins, the other year this guy wins,
Yeah.
and they're completely different physiques. So it's like there was a bit of a mess around. So then like looking at guys competing now, the standard's epic, man. Like I look at the stars, I'm like, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
Like you just physiques have been sculpted and shaped because we've had more time to do it now. And I'm like, all right, if I want to get back, like I ain't just doing a cut and just jumping back
Jumping on stage.
stage,
Yeah. Yeah.
man. I got
You
some
build
work
that
to do.
physique.
I got some work, and that's cool. That's fine.
Exciting. Keeps the passion alive.
And it's not rushing, not getting eager and just jumping straight into it and going, all right, comeback time. I'm going 6 months, I'll be back on the stage. It's like, what's the reasoning then? Why are you doing that? Are you trying to prove to other people that you can do it? And you don't want to be doing that. That's not a good way to live. So I'm going to build it back.
That's good. It's exciting.
I'm very intrigued how muscle memory works. Muscle memory is like a definite thing where I went from a year of no training. I had no definition in my arms. All my round muscle bellies were gone.
Yeah.
I weighed, I think it was about like 70s because I was trying to do Muay Thai and boxing again. So I was losing a lot of weight. 70s, right? I've been training seriously for like 6 weeks now because I've been at this local gym. 6 weeks, right? Every day the physique like
is adapting.
It's like I'm in Dragon Ball Z and I'm just in like the
chambers.
Yeah, bro, and just getting stronger and stronger. I weighed myself in Toowoomba probably 2 weeks ago at 97, so I'm definitely past 100 kilos now. I'm so impressed.
Well, you even put that bench up the other day, and you was it 220? What was it? You already
220, mate. That's fucking a bit much. 120.
120. My bad. My bad.
The hardest thing, right? This was really, really challenging. So I'm rural now. Me and my family, we moved to acreage, and we're doing self-sustainable approach, and we're growing our own food and all that. Like, so there's no gyms here. There's no commercial gyms. I tried to open up a local gym, didn't really work. I tried to do a bench press, and like my PB is 210 kilos, man. 210. I struggled on 60. I couldn't rep 60 kilos. Like, you know how like painful that was mentally. And I was like, all right, I got work here. I can do this. But no, I did. Every day I went, all right, I got 60 for 6. Okay, cool. Next week 70.
Yeah,
that's fine. Next week 80. Next week 90. It's like I'm not getting angry or pissed off. It's like I'm gonna get better each week. And like now I'm up to 122.5 for 6.
That's good.
My deadlifts got a 1RM of 250. My squat I got it was a triple at 200. So it's like,
oh, that's the 200. That's right. That was
the squat. Okay. Yeah. So it's slow progress. It's not rushing into it and just trying to go balls to the wall and break my body. It's slow progress. But someone's slow might be someone else's fast. So for me, it's slow because like
from what you're used to.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But I'm very like impressed at the body, not myself. Like I'm just doing the work. I just consciousness doing the work. I'm impressed with the body, man. The muscle memory that's like held in those genetics, because it's like every session is just getting bigger, just blowing up. and I'm like, fuck, this is it's
Awesome.
mind
It must
blowing.
be a good feeling. Just kind of like, like you said, being small and stepping away and easing back into it and, realizing that you're weak, but making sure you're still progressing each week and just watching your body transform to kind of what it used to be like.
And mental health is so good for that,
Yeah.
because I was in like a rut, man. I was like the lowest I've ever been. Like we're talking like emergency hospital, like suicidal thoughts, like really, really bad place. I was in hell. Like I'm
Mm.
gonna put it like that, man. I've been in hell for a long time, and I had to claw my way out. And the way I got out of that real, like the pits, was through weight training.
Mm.
It was being able to find a place where I could get like self-confidence back. I could build myself up. Like it was almost like my spirit inside, through this experience I had a few months ago. Like I died, like spirit. I
Yeah.
started from scratch,
You're
and
reborn.
yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like when you hear all this stuff, like, oh, I'm reborn, I'm back to life. Yeah, it's like, no, no, man. Like you're starting from scratch again. Like you're a baby, and then you've got to build your way back up through all these levels in life. And weight training was the best way to get me through that, man.
Yeah.
Like it mentally helped me, physically helped me, like confidence. Just be able to like socialize again with people. Um, so when I do my counseling in the future, I'm hoping to, I'm wanting to, depends on the rules and regulations
Yeah.
of counseling.
But implement some type
Yeah, you
of,
have to be very cautious with how it works. I want to do like physical therapy. Like I
yeah.
want to get like a private gym and then like do counseling, but in the gym with other
Yeah.
people,
That's
and like
cool.
guys who are like going through similar issues and
Yeah.
wanting to get that like confidence. That it's all power, man. It's like
Yeah.
get your own power back. um and you can do that through weight training, which is
Definitely.
really, really
No, that's
cool.
really exciting. That sounds like you've got a really good you've been through hell, like you said, and you've made it out alive. And as anything in life, when you hit rock bottom, you can only go up. So it sounds like, all the bad fortunes are now creating positive fortunes. You're in the right headspace. You got a child on the way. You got a new goal set, and instead of chasing that, I guess, ego of I want to be the best, it's just about how can I give back now? What can I do to support others and give my gift? And it's
Yeah,
just
man.
really good to hear, and it's awesome. It's been great listening to how far you've come, and being able to share this with others. And I hope a lot of people are able to take what is said, or even if it's just like one small clip or two lines, two
Mhm.
sentences, just to impact them and hopefully help them in some way.
Yeah, man. Just serving other people also serves yourself. So doing that really helps, and being a role model for other people. Like with energy, it's like how you act yourself is going to transfer over to someone else. So
Mm.
that's like when I speak about like training and everything, I'm very passionate about that side,
Yeah,
because when people reconnect to that passion in weight training, man, it's just life is so much better when you're passionate.
definitely. And that's something that I've noticed that I struggle with, and sometimes I go in that up and down and dip. Like I have that dedication, I have that you know relentlessness to no matter what, I'm going to hit my sessions for the week, I'm going to hit my meals, like I live the lifestyle. But I notice that I go through these phases of my passion's here, my passion's down here, and it's just not the same when my passion's down here. It's not, I do it, but it's not enjoyable. It's not as fun. I don't, it feels lackluster. And then when the passion's up here, it's like what you're saying, it's just like a kid in a playground.
Yeah, man. And like now that we're all creators, we all have this awareness that we can create that. It's
Mm.
like create your passion, like create scenarios in your mind that create that passion. It's like you can do this, everyone can do it. No one's special and no one's got the gift compared to everyone else. It's
Mm.
like we can all do it.
We'll do it.
Yeah, it's all in your mind, all imagination, it's all passion.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. We
It's been
appreciate it.
awesome. I appreciate you coming on and sharing everything. It was a great chat. Thank you. Have a good rest of the day, man.
Likewise, bro. Have a good one.
Cheers. See ya.